My ability to heal cannot be conditional on them wanting my forgiveness, but only on my willingness to give it. Lysa TerKeurst. Forgiveness is often a complex and challenging topic, particularly when faced with deeply hurtful experiences that seem impossible to let go of. In Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lysa TerKeurst, the author guides readers through a journey of self-discovery and healing, addressing the obstacles that hinder forgiveness and offering practical steps towards releasing bitterness and resentment. I've broken down this book into 5 key points that can help you move on from hurt. The first point: take power back from the person who hurt you. When someone hurts us, it can be easy to feel powerless and trapped in a cycle of anger, resentment, and bitterness. However, we can choose to take back control of our own lives by refusing to allow the actions of others to define us. Here are some ways to take back power. Remind yourself that you are not defined by what happened to you. You are a valuable and worthy person, regardless of the mistakes of others. Focus on the things you can control. Instead of dwelling on the past, focus on the positive aspects of your life and what you can do to create a better future. Set healthy boundaries. This means saying no to things that are unhealthy for you and protecting yourself from toxic people and situations. Practice self-care. Make time for things that make you happy and help you feel good about yourself. Number 2. Set boundaries to protect yourself from dysfunctional relationships. Boundaries are essential for protecting ourselves from emotional harm, especially in dysfunctional relationships. They define what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior and help us to maintain healthy relationships. Here are some tips for setting boundaries. Be clear and direct about your needs and expectations. Don't be afraid to say no when you need to. Enforce your boundaries consistently. Don't let others guilt trip you into violating your boundaries. Seek support from others. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist if you are struggling to set boundaries. The third point: understand that God answers prayers at the right time with the right response. When we are hurt, it is natural to pray for God to intervene and make things right. However, it is important to remember that God answers prayers in His own time and in His own way. His plans may not always be what we expect, but they are always for our best good. Here are some things to keep in mind when praying for forgiveness. Pray for God's wisdom and guidance. Ask Him to help you see the situation from His perspective and to understand His plan for your life. Pray for forgiveness for yourself and others. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it is essential for healing and moving on. Pray for peace and healing. Ask God to help you find peace in your heart and to heal the wounds of the past. Fourth, forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. Forgiveness is not something that happens overnight. It is a journey that takes time, effort, and a willingness to confront our own pain and vulnerability. There will be setbacks along the way, but with persistence and compassion, we can move towards healing and releasing the burden of unforgiveness. Here are some tips for forgiving others. Acknowledge your pain. Don't try to suppress or ignore your hurt. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that come up. Understand the other person's perspective. Try to see the situation from their point of view, even if you don't agree with their actions. Choose to forgive. Forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. It is a decision to let go of anger and resentment, even if you don't feel like it. Seek support from others. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist if you are struggling to forgive. Lastly, the fifth point is to accept that you may never fully forget the hurt, but you can choose to forgive and move on. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means releasing yourself from the grip of anger and bitterness, allowing you to find peace and healing in your own life. Here are some things to remember about forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you, not the other person. You are the one who will benefit most from forgiving others. Forgiveness does not mean condoning the wrongdoing. You can still believe that what happened was wrong, and that the other person was responsible for their actions. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. It is actually a sign of strength and courage to let go of anger and resentment. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to confront our own pain and vulnerability. There will be setbacks along the way, but with persistence and compassion, we can move towards healing and release the burden of unforgiveness. Remember, my ability to heal cannot be conditional on them wanting my forgiveness, but only on my willingness to give it. In today's video, we delved into the powerful and transformative book, Forgiving What You Can't Forget, by Lysa TerKeurst. We explored the complexities of forgiveness, particularly when faced with deeply hurtful experiences that seem impossible to let go of. Lysa guided us through a journey of self-discovery and healing, addressing the obstacles that hinder forgiveness and offering practical steps towards releasing bitterness and resentment. Thank you for joining me on this journey of forgiveness. Remember, healing is possible, and you are not alone.